Hello there everyone, Shibby here. Hope everyone out there's doing well and seeing back once again with some more Pokemon trading card game pocket ranked matches. Today's video, I'm going to continue on with my Eeveelution challenge series where I try to build a deck around each of the Eeveelutions, and in today's video, I've made my way back to Espeon. Now, the Espeon deck I tried before was the Espeon Giratina deck, so I figured I would try it again with the Espeon EX that came with the Lugia and Ho-Oh set a little while ago. I finally drew my way into a pair of Espeon, so I figured why not try it, see how they work together. This deck is really simple in its composition. It really just revolves around Espeon EX and the Espeon that came with the Eevee Grove set, as well as we're running also Eevee EX with the Eevee Grove and the normal Eevee that came with the Eevee Grove set as well. And we're going to see if we can win some games online and rank with it. But yeah, I'll have the entire deck list in the description of the video below if you want to try this deck out for yourself or simply improve upon it. But yeah, let's not be rambling and let's see what we get done with our All Espeon deck. I'll be back when I find my first match. Alrighty, looks like I found my first opponent here, and we're unfortunately going to have to go first. But it's not too much of a deal breaker, considering that most of our Espeons do not need a whole lot of energy to get going. And that's all I can do. But we do have an Ino and an Oak, just in case we get into some hand trouble here. And looks like they're running some sort of Greninja deck. And we do draw our Eevee. I would have liked to have started with that one in an ideal world, but that's not what happened. We get Sabrina and another Espeon, so we can evolve both up. And that's all I can do. Now, if you're unfamiliar with each Espeon, the normal non-EX Espeon does additional damage for each energy that your opponent has attached to all their Pokemon. I can't remember right off the top of my head how much additional damage it does. I think it's 20 damage per energy attached. So if your opponent is using a Pokemon that just is really takes up a lot of energy to use, you can do a ton of damage to it. The EX Espeon can heal itself, which is nice. So it allows you to kind of play a little bit around stuff like Darkrai and Greninja, because you can heal 30 per turn, which is more than they can do to you initially. So it is helpful, and it can be a little bit annoying, of course, which is what I always go for. But I think if I remember right, it has to be in the active spot for it to work. So even though we're going to have two EX Espeons, we can't just, heal 60 per whack. They do have to be in the active spot, which is the caveat. But if we can keep doing more damage or healing more than they can do, then we can kind of grind things out a little bit better. But we got both of our EXs up. I would like to see the normal Espeon, but Greninja really doesn't take a lot of energy to attack. But still, it does stack up between multiple Pokemon on the bench. And they got their Rare Candy, so that means they got their Greninja. But they're running Psychic and Water Energy, so it does make me wonder what they're running alongside this. But alright. What are they going to opt to do here? Obviously put the energy into this Greninja. And we're going to take 80 damage total. They're actually going to pop the Eevee on the bench. And Cyrus it in and KO it. Okay. Makes sense. But it does leave our two EXs unscathed, which is fine. Honestly, in this scenario, depending on what they're running, our normal Espeon may not be the hero of this deck. But alright, we'll pop this Greninja for 80. And we do have Poison Barb to make it a little bit more annoying to attack into Espeon. Now, they might be running Giratina if they're running Psychic Energy as well. That's what unless they're running a Sylveon to draw more cards. Alright, they got both of their Greninjas up. I know it's right, they are running Giratina as well. Okay, so now we're at a race against time against Giratina. But will they opt to keep this Greninja in? No, they're going to tag it out, which is a smart move. But I guess I will Cyrus it back in. Just to get rid of it. Yeah, they're going to chip away at that one on the bench. But I can heal it, which is a nice thing. But next turn, that Giratina is going to be ready. All right, let's heal our benched Espeon. Put an energy into it. All right, it's either I play Oak. Oh, we'll bring this Greninja in. And just go ahead and get rid of it. Now, Giratina will be ready next turn, but it cannot attack next turn. Now, this Greninja is going to complicate things just a little bit, because it is going to pop me for 20, and then Giratina will be able to one-shot me, not this turn, but the next. So that is a problem. I don't really have a way to KO the Greninja. All right. Well, I can play Eevee. But there's a chance it could get Cyrused in, which does complicate things a smidge. I can play Sabrina and bring the Giratina in. And do 80 to it, but it will still have 70 health left, and it will one-shot whatever I bring in because of Greninja. So that is a problem. All right, we'll heal this Espeon. Yeah, I think I'm just kind of stuck here. I think this is unfortunately a loss, no matter kind of what I opt to do here. All right, well, we'll just attack this Giratina. Yeah, they're just going to Cyrus in my other Espeon. Unless I can actually KO it, but that was really unnecessary because Greninja would just chip away at it anyhow. Yeah, unfortunately, we just couldn't do enough damage there to get rid of Greninja and then get rid of Giratina. But oh well, it was a close one. Kind of drew that one out, but hopefully in the future we can try to actually get some wins on the board. But good game to that opponent. Back when I find my next match. Alrighty, looks like I found my next opponent here, and we do get to go second this time. Okay, this will help us out a little bit more. Alright. No evolutions in my hand, but we do have 2 Pokeballs, so we can build a bench up, and another Greninja Giratina deck. Of course. Alright. Let's hope they don't luck into 2 rare candies immediately like my last opponent did. If that they get their Giratina right out of the gate, we're going to be in trouble. And they do. Okay. So now we're at a race against time against this Giratina. We do actually get the Espeon we need. Alright, we get Psychic Energy into it. Let's bolster our bench a little bit. Get our Eevee EX out. And then this will either be another Eevee EX or another normal Eevee. It's another normal Eevee, which is fine. Alright, we'll play Professor... Oop, well, I'll try to play Professor Oak. Now we will. Alright, we get Espeon EX and an Eevee bag, which is nice. And I'll put a Poison Barb into this Eevee. And then... that's all I can do, so we'll just go ahead and draw a card. This is another Espeon EX, which is fine. Now, I would have liked to have seen a Sabrina come my way, but we didn't get it, unfortunately. And next turn, Giratina is going to be ready. So that is an unfortunate thing. So we'll keep our Espeon EX up front. I think that is the smarter move. Just because I think it is doesn't mean it actually is. And we'll take out this Froakie. Now, if they draw their way into Greninja, we're going to be hurting. So it's 20 damage for each energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon. So we're looking at 80 with Espeon. Alright, they are just going to straight up attack here. I'm going to do Poison Giratina on top of it. Alright, so we have a decision to make here. So if I leave this SP, well, if they draw into Greninja, this Espeon is dead regardless. So there is that. So this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna put energy in the Espeon. We're gonna do Psychic Healing. Heal it to get out of KO range for Greninja. Gonna retreat. Bring in this Espeon. We'll play this Eevee on our bench. And we will... How much damage can we do here? 80? Yeah, and then we'll just straight attack here. Now, unfortunately, I did not draw into a Cyrus, so that does make this a little bit of a problem. Now, if they attack with Giratina, they lose because they will take 20 damage from it. And they did opt to concede here. All right. Well, we got our revenge on Giratina and Greninja here, and managed to go 1-1 against that deck. So hopefully we don't run into it again. But if we do, hopefully we can beat it. But good games to that opponent. I'll be back when I find my next match. All right, looks like I found potentially my final opponent here, depending on how long this duel lasts for. It looks like we are going to have the unfortunate need or be forced to go first again, I guess. All right, not the greatest opening hand in the world, but we do start with an Eeveelution. All right, are we going up against Giratina and Greninja once again? No, I see fire energy back there. All right, so this must be, I would wager, a Flareon deck. But Flareon and what? Maybe Flareon and Leafeon? Which is a deck I need to try out for myself. All right, we get another Eevee here. And then, unfortunately, I can do nothing. I mean, I could play Eno, but... no point in that right out of the gate. Alright, we are going to get popped for 30 here. Surprise, surprise. Alright, we draw into a Cyrus. Put energy into this Eevee here. Now, do I want to play Ino? And then risk losing this Espeon? I'll spend that Espeon and then play Ino. Having two Sabrinas and a Cyrus is nice, but I need my EX. Alright, I didn't get it, but our hand's a little bit better than what we had before. Alright, unfortunately, only one energy in play, so we can only do it for 20 damage. Alright, they got a Sylveon to draw 2 cards. Play Pokeball. I would wager maybe another Eevee. It is. And another Eevee. And they're okay. Are they playing Leafeon? I guess they must be playing on Leafeon, Flareon. And it can pop me for 70. How wonderful! All right. All right. It is poisoned, however. All right. Well, if I don't get another basic from my bench or an evolution, this duel is over, unfortunately. All right. All right, we do get an Espeon EX. We get both of what we need. I'll get this Eevee on our bench, and that's all I can do for now. All right, they've got all their basics out, so all I do is give themselves a free shuffle. Got Flareon, but they've got no discarded energy, so they can't really use Flareon's effect just yet. Only when I KO, if I KO this Espeon, will that be the case. All right, we'll do Psychic Healing. Now what I think I want to do is I should probably play Sabrina. I think. Because again, if I KO this Leafeon, they're going to be able to use Flareon's effect, so we don't want them to do that. And I do have Cyrus, so that is something we have going for us. All right, they're having a hard time deciding who they want to bring in. They've opted for Flareon. That's not the choice I would have expected. All right, well, Flareon can't attack me. Because, again, they can't combust because they got nothing to pull. I can't one-shot it either. All right, now it can use combust. But it did just put it in KO range. All right, now I need an Eevee bag. All right, we get our Eevee bag. All right, we heal for 30. And this will put me out of KO range for the Leafeon. This is effect number 2. We are going to bring in this Flareon. And then I'm going to Psychic Energy into this Eevee. And we'll get rid of this Flareon. Now, unfortunately, I can't KO the Leafeon. I need somehow, some way survive 2 turns. Now, if they get Flareon here, it's game over, because all they're going to do is just combust, but they don't do that. Okay, so I think I can win this if I draw into my normal Espeon. But they're going to tag out here. All right, now I can't win with normal Espeon. All right, I do get an Eevee bag. All right, we are going to have to oak it up here. All right, get a Poison Barb and another Eevee. All right, we'll use Psychic Healing. Unfortunately, the highest I can get to is 60 health. Now, they've only got 1 point, so hopefully they can't Cyrus me here. If they can't Cyrus me, then we're still kind of in business. Maybe we got to retreat. And I'm going to lose that Eevee. But... I'll just put it into the Espeon. Alright, we'll draw a card here. And it gave me a Pokeball, but I guess it does mill out our deck a little bit. Not what I needed, but it's what I got. We need our normal Espeon. I also need a Cyrus, but... Alright, we lose this Eevee. But I can make this Espeon live. Between the Eevee bag and the... Alright, it's not the Espeon I needed, but it's the one I got. Alright, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to bring this Espeon in. And we're going to do Psychic Healing on this one. I'm going to retreat. Bring this Espeon in. Put energy into it. Then use its effect. Get that Espeon back to 100. And then we're going to attack this Leafeon. Now we're just kind of going around and around. Alright, red doesn't kill me. Red at most does 20, even if they were to swap in this other Leafeon. Alright, we get a Sabrina. Which doesn't particularly help too much, unfortunately. Alright, we use Psychic Healing to get us up to 80. Gonna use the Eevee bag to heal more as well. And put a Psychic Energy into this, and they conceded. Alright. I think we were really dragging that out between our healing abilities. I think we're going to maybe outlast them and get the win there. Kind of regardless, they couldn't evolve. If they were running another Flareon, they couldn't evolve into it because you'd have all their Eeveelutions. So I guess it was just kind of a battle of wills on who could waste each other's time longer, and we just happened to win that out. But all right, well, good games to the opponent. I do believe I'm going to end the video here, though. We did manage to go 2-1 if memory serves. That last game took so long that I don't remember. But either way, good games to that opponent. And if you made this part of the video, do thank you for watching. Like, subscribe if you like it. I'll catch you guys in the next one.